Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a fantabulous couple in love that loves reacting to some fantasy.
Fantabulous.
Yeah. And so we're doing the Dark Souls Prepare to Cry series. And so we're doing the first 2 episodes of that.
It's quite a shift. We were all like happy and fantabulous, and then it was Dark Souls Prepare to Cry. It's like,
yeah, well, I wanted to start off on a downer.
No, I was just like, well, I guess Prepare to Cry. Nah, I can't even talk.
Prepare to Cry.
Yeah, that.
Marriage brings us together today.
Oh, this is going swimmingly. But Prepare to Cry does kind of come like a downer. Otherwise, I was going to say like Dark Souls could just be like, ooh, serious. But no.
It's all right. I mean, for once you stumble, I stumble all the time. It was nice that happened to you.
And when I went for it in a big way too. Like mine wasn't a half-ass slip up. It was, I'm going to go all the way on mispronunciation.
If you want all our reactions to Dark Souls, go ahead and check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there for you.
Sweet.
As well as a link to our Patreon. We can get early ad-free access as we continue this series. So are you ready?
To cry?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Okay.
Pinwheel the Necromancer, who stole the power of a Gravelord, a mother, a child, and a father, all fused into one form. His tale is one of guilt, regret, and a desperate desire to fix his mistakes. Death masks are mementos of the dead, representing the wearer before they passed away. Mask of the Father. This mask, belonging to the valiant father, represents great burden and equipment load. The father made a mistake, and he carries that burden with him. It's literally a constant weight upon him.
Ooh.
Mask of the Child. This mask, belonging to the naive child, represents the limitless energy and stamina of youth. Mask of the Mother. This mask, belonging to the kindly mother, represents the life giver and her vitality.
Doesn't look
A long time ago, something happened to this family, and they were brought together through necromancy. The father bears the weight of his wife and his child on his back, a family woven together to become Pinwheel. It seems as if, in another time long past, the human mother and child died tragically, and the father was overcome by grief. Without family, it is said that man is alone in the world. But he was valiant, and in his desperation to be reunited with his family, he took great risk to steal power from a Lord of Death, Nito.
Sure that didn't go well.
With this power, he attempted necromancy, reviving the corpses of his wife and child.
Oh, don't do that.
But something went wrong. In his desperation to be reunited with his family, his necromancy backfired and the family became whole. A mother, child, and father, reunited in a physical, grotesque form. Pinwheel. In his current form, Pinwheel resides in a crypt, filled with his tireless efforts at necromancy and revival. The creature is still sane, and continues to devote itself to experimentation and research into necromancy. But why? Well, the corpses of the mother and child were restored, but at what cost? They live on as an abomination. The only thing Pinwheel has managed to do so far is split itself into various forms, which are dumped and discarded at the entrance to Nito's tomb. Assumedly, Pinwheel is trying to split itself into separate beings, so that the father, the mother, and the child can be properly restored as was originally intended. But nothing works. For some reason, his crypt is open when you meet him. Imagine how shocked he must be to see an intruder after all these years. Someone who would interfere with his attempt to make things right. Who knows how close he was to success? How close he was to fixing his mistake?
Well, he's had a lot of time to try to do it and keep screwing. Screw that guy.
Come on in, beat the shit out of him. Oh! Go. One more. Do it. Hit him. Oh, bitch.
So weird, the juxtaposition between the language and the music.
Yep. We all remember the help Tarkus gave us that day. Tarkus was like us, someone trying to make it through the world to uncover the truth. The least we can do is follow in his footsteps and succeed where he failed. The Knights of Berenik are known for their heavy armor and weaponry. There is no nation that is physically stronger, but even among them there was Tarkus, a knight renowned for having strength great enough to sport a set of heavy black iron that was unique to him alone. Berenik was a land outside of Lordran, but it was not free from the curse of the undead. As the curse spread and society crumbled, countless knights became undead. But the knights had not lost their sanity yet. Throughout the neighboring lands, a prophecy was spreading, an old saying from Astora that said this:
Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know.
The fate of the undead. With nothing else to go on, the undead knights of Berenik ventured to Lordran, which was told to be at the heart of the undead curse. They were right. The gods were partly responsible for the crumbling world. The light in Anor Londo is an illusion, and many gods have already abandoned the world of men. For the real light, the first flame, was fading. There was one path into Anor Londo, and that was through Sen's fortress. So the knights of Berenik threw themselves at the deadly castle, trying to force their way through. And they were not the only ones. Within Sen's fortress we see the hollowed forms of both knights of Berenik and Balder, two nations that attempted to reach the land of the gods, desperate to discover the fate of the undead. Near the top of Sen's fortress there is an undead man who desperately tries to retain his sanity.
Remember, counts. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Count.
You okay, dude?
He has seen all the heroes pass through Sen's fortress, never to return.
For a century they've tried and failed. The Night King Rendell, Black Iron Tarkus, and even Logan himself. He won't stand a chance. He'll be eaten alive. But go
Thanks for the
along
pep
if
talk.
you wish, if only to deepen your despair.
They all failed. Every knight of Berenik, every Balder knight, the Night King Rendal and Logan himself. Every one of them failed, except Tarkus. Tarkus conquers the fortress, leaving his hollowed brothers behind. He carves his summoning sign at the top of Sen's fortress, so his spirit will be able to aid anyone else who comes as far as he does. Time is convoluted in Lordran, and even if Tarkus is already dead, his spirit will remain to aid those who need help with the final step, even if those heroes exist in another dimension. For guarding the final step to Anor Londo
Oh my
is the Iron
god,
Golem.
that's a big night.
It is said that the soul of this construct was originally the bone of an everlasting dragon, and it has slain countless heroes seeking Anor Londo. For the sake of all those who came before him, Tarkus prevails. He becomes the first one to make it to Anor Londo.
Achilles heel.
Yeah, I know.
But the tragedy
Kind of
begins
dick move.
here. For when Tarkus arrives at Anor Londo, he finds the path retracted before him. He must break into the palace by the only path available. Up a narrow ledge, through a window, and across the ceiling rafters protected by painting guardians. This operation runs counter to his skills. Encumbered by his armor and huge weaponry, Tarkus falls to his death on the rafters, and is dragged into a corner by the painting guardians. But his death was not in vain, because now the path is clear and Tarkus helped you there. For the sake of the fallen, we carry on.
Well, it is a Prepare to Cry series.
Dark. Which is Dark Souls, so, fitting.
I think between those two, I like Pinwheel the best. Necromancy is never a good idea. And it's I think he probably said the magic words wrong. Or, like Nastu, Feratu.
Yes. Exactly those
Yeah,
words.
just like Ash. Very super happy fun times with this.
Definitely. I love the lore behind Pinwheel.
Mm-hmm.
His lair is just something out of a gothic nightmare. His story and the masks and the sort of like misshapen, be careful what you wish for kind of storyline. It's just all very twisted and horrific, but terribly compelling in sort of that like the gapers delay that happens as like cars pass an accident because everybody wants to see what happened. It's like it's horrific and you don't really want to see it. You don't really want to know. And yet we all look. Don't know why, but we do. So something in the human condition, we just have to like be aware of what's happening. We want to be in the know. That's kind of how I felt about this character. I'm like, this character is horrific, but became this horrible misshapen thing because sort of that old saying, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. I mean, he was just a husband that lost his wife and child. He just wanted them back. And it was, I don't know, very super happy fun times, like you said.
Whenever like be careful what you wish for comes up, it always makes me think of this X-Files episode with the genie. and she always grants 3 wishes, but like the wishes never turn out well. So whatever you wish for, it gets twisted and like convoluted in a certain way. Mulder's like, oh, well, you just gotta wish for something like altruistic instead of selfish. So he wishes for world peace, and everyone in the world is gone but him. And he's like, what is this? She's like, look at that, peaceful.
Oh.
Yeah, and so he has another wish to bring it all back, but that's kind of like the same thing. Like his wish was just to have his family back with him, and that's what he got. You know, you got to read the fine print.
Yeah, definitely got to read the fine print. And I think that's kind of common with those 3 wish genies, right? Like it's never what you think it's gonna be. So yeah, I'm like super impressed you pulled out an X-Files reference. I gotta say, that was nice.
I know that's your show, but you know, just
I like all the spooky stuff. I never really thought you paid attention with the X-Files.
I thought you'd like it. You'll let us know what you thought about these episodes down below in the comments. And if you want all of our full, Prepare to Cry series, we just started it, so, you know, you've seen it now. But, get description it later on. You know, maybe we've done some more videos. Check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there for all of our Dark Souls and From Software game reactions. Check out Elden Ring lore as well. And link to our Patreon. We can get early ad-free access to videos like this. Thanks so much for checking out our reaction for our Dark Souls Prepare to Cry series, episodes 1 and 2. But just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.